Good morning. A very, very warm welcome to all the parents and students present here. It's a great day to start the academic orientation. The students have started coming to campus and we were eagerly waiting for each one of them to join us. We've spent good 5 days, 4 days with them, knowing them on campus, spending some good quality time doing various kinds of workshop. Now it's the time to introduce you and to them the academic part of their journey that they are going to take with us. It's a great, great morning, and it gives me immense pleasure to welcome each one of you, parents, my colleagues, Dr. Shani, Anando, our Dean, and Pratna, our head for first year studies. A very, very warm welcome to each one of you and look forward to the day. But before we move to anything, I would first like to welcome our founding president and chancellor, Dr. Indu Shani, the lady behind the Atlas Skill Tech University. Under her vision, we took this bold step to set up this university. She's been a former principal of HR College and member of University Grants Commission. She's also been the sheriff of Mumbai for 2 consecutive terms. With over 4 decades of experience in higher education, Dr. Shani is a visionary who leads by example. It's indeed our privilege to have her deliver the welcome address to all. And let me tell everyone at this point of time, she is one who's always had an open door policy and is always eager to listen to each one of us and more eager to listen to what the students have to tell her. A very, very warm welcome to you, ma'am, and would request you to deliver a welcome address to the parents.
Thank you so much, Meena. And it's an absolute pleasure to welcome my parents today here, welcome the teachers, and of course, we welcomed the students 4 days ago. And I cannot get over the excitement of having met your children. So first of all, let me thank you, parents, for giving us wonderful children. We really were overjoyed to meet all of them, and so were my faculty. They were really thrilled. As I went around classes, I saw that the students were really having a very, very good time and were very comfortable. I have to say that if we took this bold decision of creating the Atlas Skill Tech University, it was not me, it was not us, it was not the faculty, it was the students who made us take this decision. It was the bright students who demanded, and I think deserved, a very good school of design and innovation. And I'm so glad that that has become an absolutely leading school of Atlas Skill Tech University. So warm welcome. And also let me congratulate you, parents. I have been seeing some of the CBSE results today, and I've been seeing all these wonderful 90%ers who are coming in. And before that, the results that your children brought in from different boards. Congratulations. They have done very well. And also, having them done very well at our entrance examination, the ISDI challenge is tough. And for them to have managed to get through that is really something that I should congratulate you on. So congratulations on that, and congratulations on being a part of this family. Now you're a family, you are a part of the Atlas family, and we always believe that the school and parents actually bring the creative problem solving process into a design school. All companies are looking for great solutions, for new solutions. And all companies are asking us for students who bring in new ideas. And traditionally, as you know, till now in schools, the children were taught to learn for a test and rewarded for the right answers. Let me tell you, parents, now there is no place for right answers. There is only a place for right solutions. And I think that is what ISDI stands for: creating solutions, helping your students in problem solving, not just at the school, but even after school and even at workplace, even in their careers. We want them to go with a mindset where they are going to bring the change to the world. So I'm very, very happy to see all of you. I've been seeing about over 500 parents have already joined in. It's my proud privilege to welcome you all. And as she said, I follow an open door policy. I do. It is also meant for the students, but it is actually also for the parents. Parents, whenever you come to the institution, come up to the 7th floor. We do give the best coffee, and we will also give you some cutting chai, but we would love to welcome you and meet you all. And students, of course, are most welcome. It is an absolute pleasure for us today, and we are looking for young designers who are going to be problem solvers, and young designers. ATLAS is going to create the designers of the future, who are not just designers, but as our school says, the School of Design and Innovation, they are designers who are problem solvers and innovators. So welcome to ATLAS Skill Tech University. Thank you, Meena, and all the best to the teachers for doing this wonderful job of getting the first year students in. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for setting the context, and thank you for those enriching words. It gives me immense pleasure to invite our Dean for Academics, Anando Datta. He's somebody who's ever smiling, knows how to diffuse the tension bubble or tension bulb that we come to him with every day. And is great guide and mentor for each one of us and the students all as well. A very warm welcome to you, Anando, and over to you.
Thank you, Meena. Thank you, everyone, for joining in, and a warm welcome. Dr. Shani has already set the tone for the conversation here. It's a very difficult act to follow, but I'll try and put in a few of my thoughts in this, which might be useful for you. Parents, we are getting into a relationship which I think is going to be defining for the careers and the lives of your children, who are now young adults, and who are now going to become very old adults very quickly, because they will start to spout all these big words and say all these very profound things which we might not understand. But that is okay. That's part of growing up, and that's part of also the fun of learning design. So the couple of things that I wanted to talk about was, one is that, and I've said this to some of the students as well, is that I think happy people make good designers. And this is very key to the success of even the learning relationship that students will have with their faculty. It's not going to be easy, the learning, because there will be times when things will get difficult. There will be times when they might feel overwhelmed by the work that they're doing. But I think it's important for all of that to happen, for us to be able to create the change makers of this country and perhaps the world. To be able to do that, they will have to go through some sacrifices. And because I started out with the relationship piece, I wanted to tell you that you are part of this relationship to ensure that the energy levels are high, they feel motivated and inspired, they are happy, and we keep applauding everything that they do, and they do a great job. And whatever they do, at some level will end up becoming some pieces of a larger puzzle. And let's look at it like that, and let the relationship grow. We will stay connected, all of us. Everybody has open door policies at ISDI, so the doors never shut. So you can come and chat with us anytime. There are now all the schools are now together, which actually is the second part of my story, is that now we have a space where students learn from one another and learn to respect professions which are not their own. And it's a matter of great pride that we all are part of this one space, which has so many different sort of skill sets, so many intellectual dimensions, that help us create exciting projects collaboratively and together, which makes the whole business of learning very, very exciting. So thank you, and we will keep talking. I want to sort of look at all the exciting projects and work that all the students will do in the amazing courses lined up by Uttam and Pratna and their team. And it's going to be, I'm sure, an amazing ride. Thank you and welcome everyone. All the very best.
Thank you, Anandu. Thank you for really setting the context of the academic journey that the students will undertake at ISDI. Yes, really, we do join you in building your dreams. And the lady who's been working tirelessly to ensure the academics of your first year studies stays relevant to each of these specializations and to the professions that you are going to choose. I'm very, very happy to introduce you to Ms. Pratna Patil. She's the director for our first year studies. She's worked tirelessly with each member in this team to put together an exciting curriculum for you guys. When your kids are in class, each experience is what she has sat personally and curated. The teachers have worked very hard in the past few months to ensure that each day that you come to study in the class is an exciting day for you and a new learning for each one of you in the class. So over to you, Pratna, to take us through the wonderful academic journey that you have planned for all of us.
Thank you so much, Meena. Thank you, Anando. Thank you, Dr. Shahani and everybody. Good morning, parents and students. I welcome you to the introduction to the academic journey at ATLAS ISDI University. But before we begin, we have to acknowledge what the students have kind of achieved in the last 1 week, which has been very, very exciting. It has been extremely interesting from the perspective of students building new bonds, friendships. They have been, they've created their own little families within the, the cohort. And it's really beautiful to see them all work together, sit together. They've experienced the workshops, they've explored the campus. They have started this college life on a very, very high note. And we believe that we will continue this high tone for the rest of the semester, not just the semester, in fact, the whole year and the coming years therein. But before that, I would request Imran to share a small video of what the last 1 week has been for us and for the students. Thank you so much, Imran. That reminded me of my first day with the students to ND Studio, Karjat, and it was extremely fun to see the students' perspective, students coming from different states, different areas, talking to each other, excited about being in the Bollywood studio. And, you know, we were talking about how this context is going to become extremely important in their second semester when they actually get introduced to this idea of Bollywood and how design plays a very important part in this. So great. And thank you once again. I think the fact that the students have thoroughly enjoyed themselves, I think the whole idea of the orientation was also to get them acquainted to the new campus, to people who will be meeting them every day and each other. It's not maybe not possible that everybody is going to be in the same section, but at least now everybody knows students from every section, and which is the exciting part, because there will be a lot of possibilities for students collaborating across sections as well. Um, so I will, of course, speak a little more about the university. But before that, I want to introduce you to some people who are the core leads for some very, very definite courses for the first semester at ATLAS Tech University at the design school. The foundation here is very critical because it kind of lays down the initial ideas of what you will want to do eventually in the future. There is no knowing what's going to happen in the coming 4 years, but you do know from now what do you like, what do you not like, how can you bring your own perspectives to a particular field, how do you collaborate, what are the challenges, how do you resolve them, and all this happens within the safe space of a classroom and through a very beautiful journey of each course. I'm going to introduce you to every course lead who has put together a course plan so that most of the required skills, most of the required tools are achieved by you in this semester, so that when you move to your second semester and therefore eventually into your second year of design, into your specializations, you are completely equipped with what you require to understand and become an independent learner as well. So the first person I would like to invite is Professor Uttam Kumar, who is, I have met him this semester, it's been like 3 months now that I've known him. We sit in the same aisle, so we have had a lot of interactions from day one. And, one thing I have noticed about Uttam is he's a very, very kind person, extremely soft-spoken, always open to new ideas, new perspectives. So it has been extremely heartwarming to even talk to him and discuss how the lesson plans are kind of coming together. But more so, he's also postgraduate diploma in graphic communications and a bachelor degree in architecture. Therefore, he brings a unique combination of work experience and academic knowledge to the classroom. He has been associated with people from different creative and design practices such as architecture, product design, interior design, VFX, and motion graphics. With a work experience of more than 16 years, he carries a wide array of proven capabilities in 3D visualization, rendering, composition, composting, and animation. Uttam has also been associated with the media and entertainment industry, with projects ranging from VFX to CG film and creation of broadcast graphics. Of course, you also know him because he's been the first person to interact with you via email, sending you some very important notices and circulars. So I'm sure you're going to continue talking to him more often in this semester, but he's the one who leads our course of drawing. And Uttam, I'll request you to please walk us through what the students are going to get through in the class.
Thank you, Pratna. Thank you for a lovely introduction and a very, very warm welcome to all the parents and students if they're around in this webinar. I have been connecting with you over emails, but this is the first time we are meeting all formally. So I'll be playing dual role here today. One of the roles that you already know me is for the parent engagement. I'll be connecting with you over the semester, over the progression of the students, other things that we are planning. But more importantly for now, I'll be playing the role of a course lead of the drawing course. So let me just quickly share my screen so I can take you through what we have planned for the students for this semester. So drawing, as we are all familiar with this term, it's probably something that we all start with even before we start talking, or we all start doing any formal education. So this is something that we are all related to very closely. Somewhere down the line, we kind of lose that link because we get into core academics, and we notebooks and textbooks become our better friends. But now with design, we again have to go back and revisit this friend of ours who will be a key factor in expressing our ideas. So this course here, the key objectives or the goals that we want to achieve during this journey for drawing course would be to make drawing a medium of thinking again. Uh, Throughout the years in our schools, we start thinking of drawing as a medium of documentation. We see something and we start drawing that on our drawing book. If we need inspiration, we click a picture, we replicate that. If I like a landscape, I take a picture of it, or I just sit there and I draw that. So what I'm really doing throughout my life till now is depicting what is in front of me. Designers tend to use drawing a little bit differently. Of course, they do depict what is in front of them, but they also like to reflect what's going on in their mind. That's the process we want to, that's the process that we want the students to get into. They have to start using drawing as a tool of thinking and expressing. So if they can do that, this drawing book, this sketchbook, or this journal that they'll be creating throughout their journey will become a dumping grounds for all the great ideas that they'll have anywhere and everywhere they go. And rest assured, they'll be thinking all the time now, because all our courses are gearing them towards being great thinkers. So that's the first objective we have. Rather than looking at drawing as a documenting process, we want them to start looking at drawing as a thought process. And we want them to continuously do that. Not only draw, but also making notes. So you'll see the sketchbooks evolving very differently now. They'll become a combination of notes. They'll become a combination of swatches that they get from anywhere. You'll see them picking things up from maybe a planter, or picking things up from a workshop and sticking it in their sketchbook, because they probably will find this material useful. So that's the purpose of this. Apart from that, yes, because all the students come from different backgrounds, we also intend to bring all students to a level where they can all talk to each other at same wavelength. So the drawing will become a medium of these designers to communicate with each other as well. So that's the objective that we have for this course. Now, uh, the objective is really our aim that we want to achieve. The students can expect to achieve these learning outcomes by the end of the semester. So we want the students to develop in 5 core areas of this skill, that will be understanding, demonstration, fluency, competency, and strength. This will be achieved with a variety of assignments and in-class exercises, and of course, a lot of sessions that we'll be conducting in class as well. But then the students towards the end will start understanding the various elements of drawing. They'll start looking at drawing as a creation tool, and they'll be able to successfully showcase that also in their works. They will be proficient, they'll be fluent in expressing using drawing as a tool. So I normally give an example. In the beginning of the semester, when we give an assignment to the students, they'll usually open a software because they think the software can do the job for them. But towards the end of the semester, the students are most likely to pick a sketchbook and start drawing some ideas, or start formulating some ideas before they jump onto a software, which is just a tool of expressing their ideas. They will be able to effectively communicate these ideas as well. So we are hoping that they will be competent. They'll be competent enough to effectively communicate their ideas. And of course, there will be enough opportunity for them to explore the areas of their interest within these exercises. So there is a fair bit of play left for the students, so they can choose a medium of their choice. So some of these students would have definitely explored these mediums in their school. They would have been going to art classes and all, and they would be excited to use those mediums. We don't want to restrict them to that. So they would definitely be encouraged to use a medium of their choice where they feel confident, or they want to explore. So these are the 5 areas in which we'll be working throughout the semester. To achieve these outcomes, the semester has been broadly divided into three core elements. Again, the first milestone is covering the basics. Like I said, we want all students to come at some level where they can talk, they can communicate to each other effectively, and they're talking on the same grounds. So the first 5 weeks we'll be covering the basics, where the students will be learning the elements, the fundamentals, and some technical aspects of drawing like orthographic and perspective. Again, some of it will be repetitive for some students who have done it in the past, but this will be an opportunity for them to polish those skills further. Others who have not done it, for them, it's a great opportunity to kind of explore these tools and start putting them into their practice. Once we are done with this basic foundation of first 5 weeks, we'll move on to slightly more complex forms. And the form that we want to explore is human form. A designer will most likely be designing for human beings, like bipedals, humans throughout their life. But most importantly, it's a process they need to follow. So irrespective of who they're designing for or what the subject is, through this exercise, they'll at least understand the process of solving a problem for that particular subject. So we'll be using humans and nature to explore these ideas and how drawing can help students formulate ideas. So they'll be starting with some basic ideas of gestures and forms, how to capture the essence of a form that they are seeing, how to go beyond what they are seeing and see what does it stand for. When we're all watching Tom and Jerry comics, there's a reason we all find a particular pose funny, and there's a reason why we find a particular pose interesting. We try to go behind that pose and see what is it that is causing that. What is it that causing this emotion? So the students really start dissecting the visuals they are seeing, and they start going behind the scenes and start understanding the what and the why behind it. And then, of course, we start understanding the human forms also, because within your specializations and beyond that, you will be dealing with these human forms and you'll be working with these. So it's very important students understand that. Once this training is done, once we're done with these two main modules, we have almost covered 2/3 of the semester. And the last 1/3 of the semester will be for the students to start exploring their ideas. So this is where the students will be almost creating an independent brief, where they'll be working under the mentorship of their professors. And this is where a lot of that interaction will start happening. A lot of what I was talking about when I said they should be able to communicate at the same wavelength. This is where that will start happening, and the students will start engaging with their peers, they'll start engaging with their mentors, and they'll be producing an outcome to this module that we're kind of building up throughout the semester. So this is in a nutshell. But we do have these detailed plans, which Pratna and all the other course leads, we've been working closely over last, I think, 3 weeks now, and it's shaped up beautifully. And what we'll be doing is now we've detailed these out, and these are also already disseminated with the various lecturers who are teaching these courses with us, and they'll be taking it forward according to the plan. I would like to once again welcome you all to this course, and hope you have a lot of fun and enjoy the course. Back to you, Pratna.
Thank you so much, Uttam. The next person I'd like to invite is Professor Jay Ranjit. He is, I've known him for many years at ISDI. He's a friend, a colleague, and a go-to person for all of us, students and faculty alike. He's not just an artist, he's a consumer of knowledge and information. Be it films or literature, his knowledge is so vast that we always are sure that we'll get some reference from him for any topics that we discuss. He's a self-taught artist, printmaker, photographer, and educator with a career spanning 15 years across 8 industries, including social media content development, wedding and food photography, fine art, event and experience design, and theater. With over 30 solo and group exhibitions in that time, Jay is also the co-founder of Fluxus Chapel, an art library activity space in Mumbai, which focuses on community experiences and education in art. I'm sure many of you will get to visit this space very soon as you get to know him more and all the other course faculty for this. Jay, over to you.
Thank you so much, Pratna. It's absolutely a pleasure to be here, everyone. Looking forward to seeing all of you in the classroom and parents Thank you so much for joining in so that we can talk to you about what we're planning to do with your students and to give you an insight into what's awaiting you at the end of the semester as well in terms of the growth that you will see. To begin with, what we're looking at is some very straightforward course objectives, things that we want our students to have as something to achieve by the end of the semester for themselves and to be able to be effective in the industry. This includes being effective communicators, both visually with their work as well as professionally in the work environment, developing problem-solving skills, because that's what a designer does. We solve problems, we have to identify the right ones to solve, and this process will help them become the best at doing that. Is on an objective of making research, telling stories. If we're going to be putting things out there, we need to know what's been done before, who's done it, how it's been done, what we need to do to make it better for the future, as well as improving the experience for our audience. Now, along with this, we need to become lifelong learners. And that is a focus that we take very, very seriously, because things keep changing, the world keeps changing, and more importantly, the industries keep changing. So for our students to remain relevant, they have to become lifelong learners, and we encourage that. We aid them in learning how to do that. And of course, that helps them achieve the final course objective, which is become fluent in adapting, in being able to work in any environment, being able to work in any sort of situation, under any sort of conditions that it might take to get the job done and done well without any loss in quality or in ethics. Now, keeping all of this students, the first is to show strength in solve any problem, tackle any situation, and find the right ways of doing things. To be able to understand the roles of the functionalities and the areas of applications and softwares, so that they're using the right tools in the right context. They will then have the competency in using digital design tools through an brilliantly put together design thinking process across different software types, so that they can work within 2D as well as 3D spaces. We all live in a world of 3D printing today. They have to be capable of modeling those things, creating spaces and experiences, and this is what they will become competent with. This is followed by being demonstrative in the ability to understand a brief and design the appropriate solution. While we all have many brilliant ideas, not all of them are absolutely applicable in every situation. So it becomes imperative that we understand how to look at our information and then actually create the things that are required for that moment. And of course, a fluency in digital imaging nomenclature, processes, and cross-platform working, which makes them perfect for the industry in any role that comes their way. And they're not siloed into singular spaces. It makes them much, much better, more hireable, and therefore much more desirable to work with, because like all my colleagues here, it's a pleasure to work with them because they're all so fluent in being able to communicate the right way. Now, what are we going to learn this semester? We're going to do a deep dive straight off into Adobe Photoshop to be able to learn image editing and manipulation, to be able to create that which is required to tell a story. This will be followed by modeling and spaces in 3D with a program called SketchUp, which means we'll actually create virtual spaces that we can do walkthroughs in and also understand how things are set to a 3D space, not just a simple sketch. Following this, we dive into the world of vector imaging and graphic design, working with Adobe Illustrator. While with Photoshop, we're manipulating a pre-existing image, in Illustrator, we're creating everything from scratch. We actually create all need. And of course, we don't combine everything together to make something absolutely fantastic, which is why finally, the last module is working across applications. This will help us work with Photoshop and Illustrator together to create something absolutely brilliant. I wish I could reveal the project right now, but I'm going to leave it as a bit of a mystery until we get to it, because it's going to be so much fun. And with that, I hope you guys enjoy the process. I hope you guys get invested in it as much as we are and really, really dive in head first. Parents, we hope you enjoy seeing what your students create. And with that, Pratna, back to you.
Thank you so much, Jay. I will next call on Professor Elizabeth Jerome to speak about a very, very interesting course which we are all looking forward to. But before that, let me tell you that Elizabeth, as a person, I've known her at the beginning when I joined ISDI, and then she had taken a break, but she has been continuing her visiting faculty position with ISDI. So she's always been with us, but now she's, it's nice to see her on campus and meet her very often. She's been very, very meticulous in her approach in everything that she does, and she's an excellent storyteller. A graduate from CPT University and International Master of Interior Architecture Design, Elizabeth has conducted in-depth research on the theoretical perspective of working with intimate spaces and how individuals react to them. Her area of research involved field trips to the nearby places and small-scale industries, learning to be sensitive not only to the physical form or location of the structure, but to the temporal requirements of changing owners, workers, and users. For the last 5 years, Elizabeth has actively shared her experiences and knowledge with design students at ISDI, and she has put in some very, very interesting projects for this course called the Space and Materiality. And over to you, Elizabeth, to walk them through what is planned for them.
Thank you so much, Pratna. Thank you for that introduction. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining and diving straight into the course. So this course is called Space and Materiality. So this course is basically just like Uttam and Jay were introducing, where their courses are talking about the relationship between drawing digitally or in the analog manner and thinking. This course is going to explore the concept of making and thinking. So till now in your academic life, probably during your schooling, it's always been writing and thinking, or maybe probably even a little bit of drawing and thinking. This course is going to broaden your perspectives, open up your minds to the concept of making and thinking. So prototyping, model making is going to be extremely crucial to this course. Now, I hope my screen is visible to all.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So about developing skills in this course. So basically, for this particular course, the process that's going to be followed is thinking, operating, representing, and communicating. So all of this will happen simultaneously, and thinking, operating, representing, communicating spatially through an engagement with materials. So you're not just thinking about materials in isolation, you're thinking about materials in context to a space. Okay. So now coming to the outcomes that are expected out of students by the end of this course. So these are the outcomes that you will achieve by the end of this course, you will learn by the end of this course, and also you will be assessed on these outcomes. Okay. So understanding that each material has its own characteristics, properties, strengths, weaknesses, depending on a particular space context. How different materials interact with each other in a specific space context. That's also extremely important. And then coming towards your representing or your communication skills, which will be in the form of model making and drawing. So conceptualizing, representing, communicating design through the act of making, and understanding three-dimensional forms and learning how to abstract them and represent them through drawings. Okay, so this is how the course has been structured, or this is the course content. So it's been divided into 3 parts. The first part, which is the introduction, which will happen over the first 2 weeks, the faculty will basically introduce the course, give you all a very detailed introduction to the course. We will make you all explore or make you all more curious about the materials around you. You all will have to do your own research for it. Then introducing a practice project, which will kind of make you familiarize with the workshop, the tools, and then later on moving on to the 2 projects. The two projects will help you all work individually and will also help you all build a group dynamics in the probably in the third project. And lastly, coming on to the design process. So this is extremely important. This is, I would say, this is not just a design process for this particular course. Probably later on, when you all move on to your specializations or to other courses or other streams, this design process is extremely important. And probably a little bit of tweaks might happen here and there, depending on your course or your subject. But following a design process gives you extreme clarity about what your next step is going to be and what is expected out of you. So starting with identifying. So identifying the problem or identifying the task, this will become your kickoff point for the project. Okay. Then coming to documenting. So whatever has been identified, whatever problem has been identified, that has to be documented through either photographs, videos, rapid sketches. So along with it, it's not just blindly taking photos or blindly taking videos or making sketches. Simultaneously, there has to be some sort of analyzing happening along with that documentation process. And then coming on to ideating, representing, material research, and prototyping. Okay, so these three steps will happen more or less simultaneously, and this will develop skills of analyzing, evaluating, applying, and creating. And then lastly, arriving at the final model or the final entity. So this is the kind of design process that you're going to follow throughout this 15-week journey. And I hope you guys have fun, and we can really turn this course into a fun and exciting and enriching course. Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you for that. I'm going to next call upon Professor Nishit Mehta. Nishit Mehta, you all have met him in the last 1 week for the theatre workshop, Nautanki Shala, and I think you will not forget the fun that you've had. He's going to get some very interesting things into the class through this course. Nishit believes that the universe is made of stories and not atoms. Everything we know, science, math, sports, relationships, it's all a story. After his graduation in painting in 2010 from MS University of Baroda, Nishit worked for 7 years as a freelance painter, illustrator, copywriter, and designer, and further as a research assistant at IDC, IIT Bombay, working on stories of farmer suicides, animation films on Ajanta, and gamification of education. After getting a master's in art, history, and aesthetics in 2019, he has worked as a teacher, published author, illustrator, and scriptwriter. Over to you, Nishit. Please tell us what is in store for us in the course called Objects as History.
Thank you, Pratna, for such a wonderful introduction. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this orientation. And the course I have the privilege of leading is called Objects as History. It's a course I've been in love with ever since I started teaching it. And I really, really look forward to this new semester. So one of the best things about it is that typically what happens is students come with either an extreme like or an extreme dislike of history as a subject. And this course is legendary for turning dislike into a deep, respect and love for history as a subject. And that's what we hope to achieve. And the reason for that is it not only presents history as something that's extremely relevant, but that is also extremely relevant to you as a student, which means that not everyone needs to have the same understanding. Everyone can approach history in a unique and very, very personalized way. And it is an extremely vital step because we are in the business of producing citizens of tomorrow. And as designers, they're going to be creators in and of the world of tomorrow. So it is extremely vital that they get an understanding of where we have come from, how this world that they have been born in came into being, and that serves as a broad direction for them to take it to a better future. So the course outcomes, the objectives of this course are going to be kind of achieved and evaluated through these course outcomes. Fluency in contextualizing crafted or designed objects through visual analysis within the varieties of human culture and the broad arc of humanity. That kind of talks about looking at an object and understanding how it fits into a historical context, the evolution of society as it were, and basically talks about the where and when of how an object's design and creation. Understanding the impact of culture, material, technology, and design on design in terms of function and utility. So basically, every object is affected by a plethora of factors that that imprint on the way it is made and the process by which it is made, the way it is shaped, the materials used, etc. And we will kind of study the connections of the design or the make of an object to these various factors and the why of a certain object to exist. Fluency in practical and ethical aspects of resourcing and research. So history can be understood and studied from a whole, a variety of resources, and it is not all resources work in the same way, number one, and not all resources are equally valid sources of history. So we will learn to, first of all, identify the different sources from which we can glean history and a better understanding of history, and then filter them by their relevance, by their, the veracity, and then also understand how we can best use these resources, where and when to use them, and how to give due credit, etc. Understanding the dynamics of working in collaborative settings and the value of self-learning and peer-to-peer learning. Now, this is extremely vital, I think, across courses, across disciplines, across domains, I think, to be able to work with each other, to be able to think in an interdisciplinary setting where every student brings with them a set of a set of knowledge that they've got from before, and to feed off each other's creativity to create a better product. Demonstrate the ability to build contextual narratives. Again, extremely vital, especially in the context of history, because history itself is a huge sort of a web of narratives. And when we kind of learn to pick and curate our own narratives, we get that personalized and very, very approachable understanding of history, as I spoke about before. So the biggest question is why history is extremely important and relevant, and the answer to that question can be found in understanding how what was affects what is today and what will be. Once we understand what happened and how what is the impact of what happened on today, we can understand what is the impact of what's happening today, what those impacts might be on the future. And when we understand how various social structures came into being, whether it's politics, religion, trade, and families, everything. When we understand these structures and we understand the interconnectedness of these structures, we again get a better sort of breakdown of the world that we are living in, and we learn to identify patterns. When we study history, we identify the patterns that had existed and that came into being, and then that evolved and continue to exist today in various forms. So again, once we understand that, we get a better understanding of our world. And above all, looking at objects as beyond what they are. I mean, we all, for example, have seen a smartphone and we take it for granted. But when we look at the kind of stories that a smartphone may have to tell, in that, what is the story of technology that a smartphone tells, and what is the story of business that a smartphone tells, and what is how basically a smartphone came into being because of a certain pace and economic pace, and how it has driven the economic pace further, and how basically the object and the society in which it was created have interacted. Those connections are vital to understanding the design of a product. And then taking it further, we understand the connections between objects created in various societies. Societies have come together across history through trade, through migration, through invasion, through a host of other things, and they've had an impact on each other in terms of technology, in terms of language, in terms of culture. And when we understand again those connections, we get a richer understanding of our own times and the times to follow. And finally, the entire objective is to look at an object and its design as an artifact that stands for the people that created it. We understand the behavior, the psychology of the people, of the culture, of the society in which that particular object was created. And that understanding is vital to designing the objects for the society, for the culture, for the people that we will be designing for. And all of this will be achieved through two major projects, which will be broken down into several smaller assignments. And I'm not going to go into detail about that right now, but they're going to be extremely fun, and they're going to be extremely comprehensive and open-ended. And I'm really looking forward to an amazing semester for this course. Thank you. Over to you, Pratna.
Thank you so much, Nishit. That was indeed very exciting. I'm going to now call Professor Kanika Makija, who is a lover of research. She likes to do research for every little thing. I have learned research, many nuances from her in the last 6 months that she's been on campus, and we've been interacting and putting this course together. She is a professor. She teaches young she teaches young prospective designers ways of looking. It pushes the students to observe the world of objects and artifacts from a new perspective and explore nuances of their history and materiality. As an artist, she indulges in printmaking. The art practice fuels her understanding of visual language and her interest in popular culture. As a researcher, she has handled several projects independently and with a team, has done research that covers subjects of cultural heritage, material history, consumer history, and media practices. Kanika, over to you. Please tell us what we have in store for in your design research course.
Thank you, Pratna. Thank you so much for the lovely introduction. Welcome to your college life, guys. This is going to be a really fun year. I'm really looking forward to seeing you guys in classroom. The little interaction I had with you, with some of you in the workshop was really interesting and fun. So I can't wait to have more of that. Starting with the course that I'll be teaching this semester. This course is called Design Research. Second. Now, research can be a really heavy word, and sometimes often has a connotation of being maybe boring, and often is only limited to the first page of Google search. That's not what we're planning to do here. And research is, knowing what is research and knowing how to research smartly is a very essential tool for any designer in today's world of knowledge economy. So this course will equip students with a fundamental research toolkit, and it will help them build a research aptitude and analytical thinking skills that are integral to design. So through a lot of fun exercises, what we have planned is that it will push you to push a boundary of your own universe. And you try to understand what it really means to know something, know about something. The course is divided into these few skills, and that you get to learn over the course of the 15 weeks or 16 weeks a semester. Observing. Now, it's not just merely looking at things; it's really seeing them and absorbing it and understanding it. self-exploration. It's to know the world better and to better than you knew before, but also to know yourself better. You know, you kind of know the world better, and it's kind of like a back and forth process where you find more about yourself, and then you find more about the world, and as you find more about the world, you realize what you like and you don't like. Questioning techniques, you know, asking the right questions can really help you reach to the answers faster. So it's also allows you to discover more possibilities, you know, for any process and any things that you're planning to make. So we learn how to ask the right questions. We learn how to make sure the questions we're asking is also to the right people. Inferential comprehension. Now it seems like a heavy word, but it's really to kind of, you know, to understand, absorb, process information in the right context. It's really about reading between the lines and understanding more to the what more exists to the story. Creative writing. Now writing can feel very lethargic and hectic, and sometimes very overwhelming. So here we really kind of push to kind of, you know, it's really about selecting the content of writing and also writing it smartly. And it's about putting down information in a paper which is in a coherent manner. It's really not about how best you read, basically what best you're saying. Reflective thinking and analytical thinking.
Kanika, hi, sorry, but I think what we are seeing on our screen versus what you're showing is something different, because we are only seeing your first slide right now.
Oh, okay. In that case, hold on. Is it working now? Can you see the?
No, we
No,
only
you may want to
find
stop
this-
sharing and
Alright.
share again.
Oh, sure,
Yeah.
sure. I can do that. Hold on. Is this working now?
Yes, now it's working.
Perfect. All right, great. Sorry. Sorry about that lag. All right. Lastly, thinking and reflective analytical thinking.
I think if you just quickly do the slides 1, 2, 3, 4 without saying everything again, so that we can just see the slides, and then you can come back to your last slide.
Awesome, awesome. So this is where we were, and this is where we are now.
Yes.
So lastly, on the analytical and the reflective thinking, it's a now this step is key to the entire design process, right? We kind of keep going back to this bit over and over again throughout your courses, throughout your design journey. It really pushes you to, you know, pause, reflect, synthesize, and then respond to a situation. So what you really learn out of this course is to, you know, you build on your observation skills. Like I mentioned, observation is not just looking at things. It's really about, you know, looking at the details of it, the nuances and the richness in the world around you. So you learn how to identify diverse resources. Now, what Professor Nishit mentioned, resources can be valid or invalid. Here, we really look up. It's not just about the validity or the invalidity, but also what are the channels through which we can gather information. Fluency in basic research skills and research processes. This process is going to be your toolkit for the years to come. So this is, if you understand this basic process, you can apply it in every discipline that you go, every sector you go. Fluency in data and interpretation, analysis through an effective process. Like I mentioned earlier, reflections is what we're going to focus on through and through this course and through the semester, because it's really about responding to a situation, to a problem in a intuitive manner, in an intellectual manner, but not just reacting to something. It's really about pausing, taking in the information, processing, absorbing, and then responding. Understanding of paraphrasing, citation, and bibliography. In today's world, it's really everything is a copy and everything is repetitive and everything has been already done before. So you really feel like, okay, where is my references, influences are coming from? Here we acknowledge these references, we acknowledge the influences, because it's not just about taking the idea that existed. It's about using that idea and building something new on it. So it's really about, so you understand, crediting, it's about really the ethics as well. You credit the people who deserve, who have put in that effort to really come up with that idea, and you are using that idea to build forward. So paraphrasing, citation, bibliography is where, there's going to be a major point in this course as well. So that's all. I'll leave the details to for the courses in the for the classroom discussions, and over to you, Pratna.
Thank you so much, Kanika. And next, last but not the least, I'm going to invite Professor Gaurav Keswani. He's an artist at heart and excels in teaching different thinking processes required for design. He completed his master's in interior and living design from Domus Academy at Naba, Milan, and his Bachelor of Design in Product Design from Symbiosis Institute of Design, Pune. He's always been interested in pushing the boundaries of cross-disciplinary learning and speculative design using his experience in spatial design, product design, and design research. He has worked with various architecture and interior firms before pursuing his master's. He has also worked with multiple aspects in the area of future of work at Siemens Italia, Milan, before joining Indian School of Design and Innovation, Mumbai. Gaurav has planned this really beautiful course on design process, which will help you understand what design is really about. It's going to catch up on also pull a little from what Elizabeth spoke about with respect to design process. But let's see what Gaurav has in store for us with this course called Design Studio.
Thank you, Pratna. Good morning and welcome all. I think it's almost afternoon, and so we'll just pursue this faster. Let's see. So the studio that I'm going to talk about is the Design Studio. This is the first studio that you'll have in your journey in design education. You'll be interacting with many studios across the years, across all disciplines when you go ahead. In essence, a studio is the course that you do, which is a core part of your learning, where you interact with the design process itself. Design process is a complicated process, but it can be simplified, and that's what we want to give you through this studio in the first semester. This studio will interact and kind of make you understand how to really deal with, let's say, different situations, different pieces that are moving, different variables, different stakeholders, different, let's say, steps to get to an outcome. When we talk about outcomes, there are a lot of outcomes that we expect to be achieved from this course and from your learning through this semester. The primary being understanding and knowledge of visual representations, abstraction of ideas, conceptual arguments, and so on. We also want you to be competent in terms of making new concepts, making new ideas, making prototypes, and so on. In fluency, we talk about how you develop concepts and how you experiment, right? Can you really, let's say, understand that your thinking can be challenged when your research says something else, when your action says something else, and hence your assumption of what that outcome might be might not stand. When we talk about strength, this is where you understand peer-to-peer collaboration, and that's what we would encourage through this course. So the course goes through a process, as I said, in a simplified manner. This is what the steps will look like. These are the modules we take you through. We'll talk about gearing up for this course through curiosity, through building and developing your curiosity and observation. We'll talk about how you can analyze and evaluate, so you can collect data, you can reflect on it and understand it. We can talk about how you kind of create by visually thinking about certain things, visually representing certain things in terms of ideation process. We then talk about how to create physically in prototype manner and validate those physicalities with the stakeholders involved through rapid concept development. And the last part of it is the co-creation part, where we understand how do you really kind of come together and present your outcome in a well-defined manner, right? So in all, we want you to achieve a first-hand understanding of what it takes to be a designer, and this is where you do. That's it from myself. That's over to you.
Yes, thank you, Gaurav. I think with that, we come to an end on what the courses are all about. We have 6 courses altogether. We have drawing, we have imaging, drawing, which is led by Professor Uttam Kumar, imaging, which is led by Professor Jay Ranjit. We have space and materiality, which is led by Professor Elizabeth Jerome. We have objects as history led by Professor Nishit Mehta. We have design research led by Professor Kanika Makhija. And we have design studio led by Professor Gaurav Keswani. Before you of course, we will also be sharing course files. But in the meanwhile, let me give you a little glimpse on what the journey is going to be like in the university setting. What do we mean by, just a minute, let me just make this full screen. Yeah, what the foundation year journey looks like at ATLAS Tech University, and what does it mean for being a student at ATLAS Tech University. So one is this foundation year will give you an opportunity to understand your field of interest better, which means you're looking forward to everything that we are doing is eventually connecting to your specializations that we will even closely introduce you to in the second semester, when you will have interactions with your professors from the discipline, the program directors, and the programs themselves. This will also be an opportunity to acquire the essential foundational skills for your field of interest. So do not take any of the courses lightly, because each course brings to you a set of tools, of skills which are required for your specializations. This is an opportunity for you to become an independent learner, an extremely important skill and a value system that one must incorporate if you want to be in the field of design. And an opportunity to grasp the interdisciplinary nature of design, which of course we are all aware of and we are all working towards, and we know that is the only future that we see. The university requirements, however, are very critical, and you must note them down. The discipline, which is, of course, becomes your primary step to achieving success, because if you do not follow certain discipline, which are laid down by our faculty, by the institution, by the university, it will become difficult for you to catch up with what is happening. It's difficult, not impossible, but you don't want to go the difficult path. You want to take this in a more systematic manner. So discipline would include that you do make sure that you arrive to your classes before time and not running into the class 5 minutes, 10 minutes late. This is extremely important also to maintain a decorum of the class, for maintaining the sanctity of what is being taught, also as a respect to your classmates and your faculty. Protocols will help you organize and communicate effectively. Once you know, and once, of course, we will be sharing, Professor Uttam will also be sharing a lot of protocol documents with you on what to do when you are in doubt, when you have a question. Of course, you have course faculties and your course leads to go to. They will be the first people that you will interact with. But there will be a set of protocols that you will follow with respect to how do you send an email, whom do you send it to, how do you take permissions for certain things. Most important, you will also get a detailed orientation with our Professor Aradhana, who will help you understand the assessments, the examination pattern, and the grading and the resit exams and the entire system that follows along with that. That's something which is very important, and you must make sure that you attend it. We will send the details of that orientation very soon. Deadlines, I know we all don't like it. Being professionals also, we don't like it, because we keep saying that, what, I'm in a flow, I don't want a deadline, I don't want to work. But that's not how the world works. Deadlines in your class, in your course, while your submissions may seem like daunting, may seem like restricting, but they are not. They are meant to help you take decisions. They are meant to help you understand strategizing with your own skills, with your own strengths. How do we make certain things happen at a certain time, so that there are certain things delivered, and therefore we move on to the next project or the next assignment or next work. So it is important that we follow the disciplines, protocols, and deadlines while we are as a student. We will all be here to hold your hand. We will all be here to explain to you how that works. Communication is extremely important. If you do not communicate effectively, it's going to be difficult for us to resolve any of your queries or any of your challenges. We believe in a very safe classroom. We all strive towards creating a classroom space where you can ask questions. But remember, just because we have the possibility of asking a question, we should not aim at hurting anybody in the class. So maintaining those maintaining those borders between, lines between what do I want to say and how is it going to be perceived by the other, and do I need to say this if it is going to hurt somebody, or can I do it differently? All these skills are going to be extremely important for you to grasp in these courses, because every faculty is going to insist upon these. Besides the skill, besides the assignments, besides deadlines, the deadlines will also help you achieve your grades in time. University requires us to release the grades at a specific time, and it is mandatory for us to release the grades at a specific time. So make sure that you understand the protocols, you understand the 3 sets of grading processes that you will follow, which is the 5th, 10th, and 15th. All these details will be shared with you by your class faculty in the class. So I'm not going to overburden you with that information right now. You'll have many weeks to understand that clearly. And otherwise, of course, we are always here with you. It's always a burden as a design student, as a professional today. It's a constant pressure from everyone to be unique, to be different. But it comes with a lot of burden. It comes with a lot of pressure. It comes with a lot of expectations. So simply just to be a part is just to be yourself. If you are, there is no requirement for anybody to excel, to be different, and nobody needs to be, critically harsh on somebody to be different. You can make everything very, very plausible and working. So make sure that, what sets you apart can sometimes feel like a burden, and it's not. And it's important that most of the times that it's what we make ourselves through these courses. We'll all be at different levels of learning. We will be at different levels of absorbing these skills and becoming an expert or not, or an beginner. So take it in your stride. We're all here to help you. We are not here to create similar products. We are here to encourage your unique parts that you will bring to your class. So please speak up, please talk, please ask questions, please listen. And all these skills are going to be critically important in each of your courses. Many of the courses, as you have realized, have a lot of repetitions in terms of ideas of observation, research, processes to be followed. Remember, design is not rigid. It does not just follow one way of doing things. So look at these as new perspectives of doing the same thing. See where you can apply, see how it will help you, and have a lot of fun. We are very eager to have you on campus. I'm going to see all of you on Monday, and so is the rest of the team. And hope that you enjoy this semester with us. We will be sharing course files with you. We will be sharing all the other documentation with you and students and parents very soon. So rest assured, no information will be left out. And please feel free to ask us questions by next week. I think you'll have more clarity on all the course. I think somebody was asking me, asking a question on course codes, etc. So all that information comes to you in the course file, which will have your course lead names, your faculty names, the course outcomes, the objectives, the week-wise breakup, etc., assessment, assignment briefs, everything. So just have fun, rest enough over this weekend, and come prepared for a very, very exciting and a non-stop semester starting Monday. Wish you all the very best, and thank you from my end. Over to you, Meena.
Thank you, Pratna. Sorry, I'm just making a quick list of some of the questions that I'm seeing parents asking us on the chat. But thank you, entire team, for first year studies to put together such a concise and such detailed, kind of overview of the first year studies. Thank you everyone for putting in so much of hard work to take us and the parents through this. Parents, I know you'll have a lot of questions. I will answer some basic questions. I know there are a lot of questions on laptops and the Creative Cloud subscription. Please do not worry for next week. I will request Jay sir, and we will do a lot of on-campus orientations and online orientations as well next week. We will fix it up later in the evening so that even if as parents you would like to join, we will be happy to answer your queries over there. The other question that I saw in the chat box was stationaries. I know a lot of your students have basic stationaries and a lot of you come from outstation. Please do not worry. There is a stationery store that is there on the campus itself. But for the next week, what the students require is very, very basic stationery, and let them carry whatever they have. And please do not worry how they will manage the class. Our teachers are competent enough to understand how to manage the classes if the student does not have some basic stationery in the first few weeks. So please do not worry about the first few weeks. There is enough support on campus available for them to find solutions to these small problems. The other thing that I see is a lot of queries on the courses, the credits and everything. As soon as we finish this orientation, you will be receiving an email with an overview of the FIS, a brief overview of what you just saw in the presentation, again introducing you to each course that your child will be taking in this semester. The entire team's introduction also will be part of that document. So it's my humble request to all parents to just wait for some hours and it will be in your inboxes. There's another question that I read about was of electives and skill ups. Yes, electives are the university electives that are floated across different schools or different schools that we have, like from management and entrepreneurship school, from media and communication, from film. So these are electives that a student will be able to choose. There will be an orientation that will be organized for all the students to go through what kind of electives are available and what they can choose. And one important point that I would like to now wrap up our session with is each of your child has been assigned to an advisor. We have a team of advisors who are working with your students. They are currently connecting with them on WhatsApp. Yesterday, they have received their timetables from their advisors. My request to you would be, please request your child to connect with the advisors, and all the queries that you're putting here will be answered through them. They will connect with the respective members in the team and get you answers to all your queries. I see a lot of questions over here. I've tried to cover as much as I could, and I see a lot of colleagues of mine responding very aggressively to the questions. I would request you to please hang on for some time. Each of your queries will get answered. Route your queries through the advisors, and Uttam, myself, Pratna, and all the course leaders would be very, very happy to respond to each of the queries that you are putting up. I will quickly introduce the advisors, though they are not present here, but Ms. Bhargavi Deshpande leads our student experience team. And we have team of 4 advisors who are specifically working with her to help the first year students settle into the campus. We have Ms. Sakina Petiwala, we have Rashmi Prabhulekar, we have Ms. Asha, and we have Ms. Sheetal. These are the 4 advisors to whom your students have been aligned to. Request you to put your queries to us through them, and we will be more than happy to respond to each of the queries. Thank you for attending the orientation and giving us so much time of yours. We'll look forward to meeting you more often, and have a great day and a great evening. Thank you once again. Bye-bye. Imran, may I request you to play the video again?
Yes, I was just gonna tell everybody that whoever has missed the video, I have put the YouTube link in the chat. I will also play the video once again, and I will share the YouTube link again on chat. So if there's anybody who wants to see the video at your own pace, time, it's there in the chat. I've just posted the link, but I'm gonna play it for everybody once again.